Hey everyone, my name's Alex, and I'm a new subscriber to this channel. I've been engrossed in the stories here, and they've made me think about my own eerie experiences. One in particular, involving a place called Ravenswood Manor, still haunts me. I hope you're ready for a spine-chilling tale that stretches over 3 episodes. This is a true story, and it's one that left me profoundly unsettled. So buckle up as I take you through a nightmare that felt all too real. It was late autumn of 2022 when I first encountered Ravenswood Manor. My girlfriend Lydia and I had been dating for over a year, and we decided to visit her family's estate in a remote town in New Hampshire. I'd met her parents a few times before, but this was my first stay at their historic home. The drive was picturesque, the kind that makes you appreciate the beauty of fall with its vibrant reds and golds. But there was an unsettling undercurrent, a feeling of something being off. The town itself was quaint and charming, with old colonial architecture and narrow streets. The manor, however, was something else entirely. As we arrived, Ravenswood Manor loomed in the distance. It was an imposing 3-story house, perched on a hill with its own dark history. The house was surrounded by a dense forest, and the entire property seemed to be encased in an eternal twilight. The first impression was one of grandeur mixed with a touch of menace. Lydia's parents greeted us warmly. They were friendly and polite, but their eyes held a glimmer of something I couldn't quite place. Concern? Fear? They led us into the manor through a grand entrance hall adorned with antique furniture and grand chandeliers that flickered ominously. The manor had been updated with modern amenities, but still retained its old-world charm. The air felt heavy, almost as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. We were shown to the guest room upstairs. Lydia explained that her childhood bedroom was small and outdated, so we would be staying in the guest room. She casually mentioned that the room had a reputation for being haunted. She downplayed it, saying her family had experienced some odd occurrences but nothing too alarming. Still, her casual tone did nothing to ease my growing unease. As night fell, the manor took on a different character. The shadows seemed to deepen, and the house creaked with an unsettling frequency. Lydia and I settled into the guest room. The room was beautifully furnished, but something felt off. The lighting was both too bright and too dim, creating a disorienting effect. Despite my attempts to brush off the eerie feeling, I couldn't shake the sense of being watched. The room was unusually quiet, save for the occasional distant creak of the house settling. Lydia tried to comfort me, but my mind was already racing with the stories I'd heard. That night, I was jolted awake by a sound that seemed to come from inside the room. It was a soft scratching noise, as if someone, or something, was trying to get in. I sat up, my heart pounding, and listened intently. The noise stopped abruptly, leaving an oppressive silence in its wake. The following day, Lydia's parents shared some of their own unsettling experiences. Her father recounted a time when he was alone in the house, working on a renovation project. He had felt a cold hand grip his shoulder from behind, and when he turned around, there was no one there. Her mother spoke of hearing footsteps in the hall when no one else was home. They all seemed to treat these incidents as mere inconveniences, but I couldn't help but feel that there was something more sinister at play. Determined to uncover the source of the disturbances, I decided to explore the manor on my own. Lydia and her family were out for the day, and I took the opportunity to investigate. I started in the attic, a place I had been avoiding due to the stories I had heard. The attic door was heavy, and it creaked ominously as I opened it. The attic was filled with old furniture and dusty boxes. As I rummaged through the belongings, I couldn't shake the feeling of being watched. The temperature dropped suddenly, and I heard a soft whisper behind me. I turned around, but there was no one there. Among the dusty old boxes, I discovered a collection of old letters and journals from previous occupants of the manor. The entries were filled with accounts of strange occurrences, shadows moving on their own, doors opening and closing, and even whispers in the night. It was clear that the manor had a long history of unsettling events. One journal caught my eye. It belonged to a woman named Eleanor Ravenswood, the original owner of the manor. Her entries described increasingly disturbing phenomena, culminating in her belief that a malevolent entity was residing within the house. The final entry was a desperate plea for help, suggesting that the entity had claimed the lives of several people close to her. The following nights were marked by an increasing sense of dread. Each night, The noises grew louder and more frequent. Footsteps echoed in the hallways, and doors creaked open and shut on their own. Lydia and her family dismissed these occurrences as part of the house's charm, but I couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. One night, as we were sitting in the living room, we heard a loud bang from upstairs. Lydia's father went to investigate, but when he returned, he had nothing to report. He seemed unnerved, but he brushed it off. Lydia tried to reassure me, but the events of the previous nights left me on edge. Determined to understand what was happening, I decided to dig deeper into the history of Ravenswood Manor. I visited the local library and spoke to the town historian, who revealed more about the manor's dark past. According to local lore, Ravenswood Manor was built by a man named Jonathan Ravenswood, a wealthy industrialist with a dark reputation. Jonathan was rumored to have been involved in occult practices, and his family had a history of mysterious deaths. The historian revealed that several members of the Ravenswood family had died under suspicious circumstances, and the manor had been the site of numerous tragic events. It was said that Jonathan had made a pact with a malevolent spirit, and the house had been cursed ever since. That night, the manor was filled with a palpable sense of dread. Lydia and I decided to confront the source of the disturbances once and for all. We set up cameras throughout the manor, hoping to capture evidence of the paranormal activity. The cameras recorded strange occurrences, shadows moving on their own, doors slamming shut, and eerie whispers. The most disturbing footage showed a shadowy figure moving through the halls, its form shifting and twisting as if it were alive. The figure seemed to be watching us, its presence malevolent and threatening. As we approached the end of our stay, the events grew more intense. Objects in the manor began to move on their own, and the sense of being watched became overwhelming. Lydia and I decided to confront the spirit. Armed with a flashlight and a sense of determination, I entered the guest room. The atmosphere was suffocating, and I felt a cold presence surrounding me. I spoke aloud, demanding that the entity reveal itself. The temperature dropped sharply, and a voice, cold and filled with hatred, whispered, "You will never escape." Desperate for answers, I returned to the attic to search for more clues. Among the old journals and letters, I discovered a hidden compartment containing a sealed envelope. Inside was a letter from Eleanor Ravenswood, written in a frantic scrawl. The letter revealed that Jonathan Ravenswood had not only made a pact with a spirit, but had also trapped it within the manor's walls. The spirit was said to feed on fear and anguish, and it had grown stronger with each passing year. The letter also contained a drawing of a hidden room in the manor, one that was not on any of the house's blueprints. The room was said to hold the key to ending the curse. Following the directions from the letter, Lydia and I searched the manor for the hidden room. We found it concealed behind a false wall in the basement. The room was small and cluttered with old artifacts and relics. In the center of the room was a large ornate mirror, covered in dust and cobwebs. As we approached the mirror, a chilling realization dawned on me. The reflection in the mirror was not our own. It showed a different room, one that was dark and distorted. The mirror seemed to be a portal to another realm, one where the malevolent spirit resided. We attempted to destroy the mirror, but it was impervious to our efforts. Instead, we found a hidden compartment behind the mirror, containing a small, ancient book. The book was filled with rituals and incantations, and one entry stood out, a ritual to banish the spirit. Armed with the knowledge from the book, Lydia and I prepared for the final confrontation. We performed the ritual in the hidden room, chanting the incantations and using the artifacts we had found. The atmosphere in the manor grew increasingly tense as we completed the ritual. As we finished, the manor seemed to come alive with a malevolent energy. Shadows twisted and turned, and a cold wind swept through the house. The spirit's voice echoed through the halls, promising that we would never escape. With a final desperate effort, we completed the ritual. The mirror shattered, and a blinding light filled the room. The oppressive atmosphere lifted, and the malevolent presence seemed to dissipate. Thanks for tuning in to this chilling 3-part series. If you've had your own eerie experiences, or if you have any thoughts on what happened at Ravenswood Manor, drop a comment below. This community has been an incredible place to share and connect over these unsettling stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more haunting tales. Remember, sometimes the shadows are closer than you think. Stay safe, everyone.